All right, welcome to the weekly Forexcast. So I'm going to make this quick, covering several potential setups for the week. All right, starting with the US dollar currency index. All right, so it's important to know what the dollar index is doing, especially when you're looking to trade majors that's paired up with the US dollar. All right, so looking at the dollar index, it's pretty much been doing what I've been expecting for the most part. Price pumped above this level of structure. All right. I was looking for price to retest, pull back, and find support. That's what it did. And then it's pretty much created a double bottom, or it did create a double bottom and it bounced up. So if we look here on the 4 hour, all right, price came out here, found support, pumped up, and then you see price pulled back with the FOMC or interest rate, and then it found support again, forming a bearish engulfing on the 4 hour, and then it pumped up again. All right, so now it's looking like price is pulling back. So on this pullback, I like for price to retest or to hold support. If price holds support, then I'm still anticipating bullish moves up for the dollar. All right, now if price breaks below there, then we probably could go lower. All right, so looking at GBPNZD. All right, so looking at GN on the daily, you can see price basically came back to this structure level, all right, where we had sellers before. After the break of this support structure to the left, price broke down, retest, and continued. So now price is hovering around that level pretty much. It's actually ranging at this level, but you got to be careful because it did form a bearish engulf or a bullish engulfing the prior daily candle. But if you look at the 4 hour, price found resistance and sold off at this high of supply in this range and broke down. So if I go down to the 1 hour, you can see price form this double top. All right, this double top, this was the high of March 18th. This was the high of March 19th on the retest and broke down and sold off. So when you get a double top and you see price sell off like that on a double top, you like for price to come back and retest possibly the neckline of this, all right, of that double top. So we could, before any, if price did want to break to the upside before that happened, we could possibly see price come back and retest here. All right, roughly around 1.94. Look for it to find resistance and then continue back down to the support level within this range. All right, so that's something I'm looking for early on in the week on GN. GBPJPY. So looking at GJ overall, if we look at this on the weekly chart. So on the weekly chart, you can see price came to this high, this psychological level where you had supply in the past, where price had big sell-off in the past, right? So around 152.5 is like a psychological level. So what price did is it came up there, rejected, nice, gave you a pin bar and started to sell off. So if we look at the 4 hour doing the top down, price it's a double top, formed somewhat of a double top or triple, and then broke down from there. All right, so now this will be the neckline of this structure. So if price continues to sell off here, we can look for continued sales. So I'll look for something like this. I could take a trend line here. You can see price starting to break down. It did break out of that. We also got our moving averages crossing over. All right, so I would either look for price to continue to break down here and then maybe give us a retest of that or a pullback and then continue down to 150. 150 will be my first target for this next move. All right, now if price continues to break down from there, because if we look at this, I have an outer trend line here on the daily, right here, upward trend line. So if price continues to break through 150, down from 150, all right, which also will break that trend line. On the pullbacks, you can have more opportunities for bigger sales down, possibly all the way down to 1.475 support. All right, I mean 147.5 support. All right, so that's what I'll be looking for in GJ. I would just, be patient. Let's let the setup come for us, and let's bounce back. All right, so looking at EURJPY. EURJPY, also, a lot of the JPY pairs are starting to form reversals. All right, so if you look at EJ to the left, price is at this nice level of supply. We had huge sellers in the past. All right, so we be patient, we watch price action develop. So if you look at this on the daily, price gave us this bearish engulfing on the daily, all right, and then started to break down. So if we look here on the 4-hour, pretty much got a double top right here, all right. So on the double top, price actually broke down, all right. So with the breakdown of that, also got that trend line right here. So price started to break down from that trend line. And with the breakdown of that trend line, this is what I would look for going into the week. So I would either look for price to continue to sell off here and then catch pullbacks for continuation, all right? Or price could pull back and correct first, and then I could look for even better risk to reward opportunity on that sell, all right? So either or, I'm liking sales for EURJPY. GBPUSD. So looking at GU at the price had a huge move down, price basically ranging at this level, all right, awaiting the next big move. So if I break this down, I actually gave this out, this projection, when price rejected up here, I was anticipating price to continue to sell off. So it ended the week selling off down there. All right, so now price is in a range though. So price could come down here. If it finds bullish price action support, we could potentially get one more wave up. All right. But if price comes down here, let's say price actually breaks this structure support. If that happens, I would like to see a pullback or ideally a retest of that for resistance and look to continue it down back to my next structure level support. All right. But if price, of course, if price breaks this range to the upside and comes back and finds support, then this could potentially pull up higher. CHFJPY. Looking at CHFJPY, did what I was anticipated as well, because if we look overall, even on the weekly, you can see we're in a big level of supply. All right. Big supply level, big level of sellers. So overall, I'm looking for potential sales opportunities, just being patient. So you see price came, gave us a bearish engulfing here, sign of sellers coming in and came up. All right. Pushing down back in that range. Now, if we look at the 4-hour, you see price also gave this with the impulse breaking out of my trend line as well. So what you expect, impulse, correction. So now I'll be looking for some type of correction for price to continue down to this level of support. All right. So on the pullbacks, there could be sell opportunities. CHFJPY. On EURUSD. All right. So EURUSD actually did what I expected it to do. It pulled up a little higher. But for the most part, it's still retesting and holding resistance at this previous level of support structure. All right. So if we go down to the 4-hour, you see we formed this double top right here. Forming this double top. So seeing that, one or two things can happen. We can either see price slightly pull back, and on the pullbacks, we could look for potential continuations to the downside, or price could continue to roll over. And if we get a break, we get the break of the support, then price can go lower. So if price comes down here and breaks this low, forming a lower low, I would like to see a pullback, ideally a retest for resistance and continuation down. All right. So overall, I'm still bearish on EURUSD. All USD, similar. Price still held. It pulled up a little higher, but it's still, you see on the daily, you got this nice bearish shooting star right there on the retest. Price pulled up, retested, resistance, nice rejection away. All right, so it's interesting to see how price is going to develop this week. Price can either pull back. Now, if price pulls back and hold resistance and then starts to roll over, we can continue to expect selling pressure down here. All right, now if it was to come up and break this level, then it's probably going higher. But if it retested, rejects, then we can still see sales. Or if it just continues to drop here, right, you could expect it to continue to go. And then on the pullbacks, you continue to look to take it lower. All right. Now, if price actually breaks that low, then you could go even lower. All right. Because really, if price continues down, I will expect to create a lower low, retesting the structure support to the left. All right. Gold. Gold is also back at the level. You see, I had this arrow. I was expecting gold possibly, if it pull back up here to these previous structural support levels, you can see price potentially continue to roll over. So looking at this, price did on the 4-hour, you see we got evening star rejection from this level, also 1750 psychological level, rejecting down. So now price is pulling back. All right, and this is also a level where you have previous retests for sales. All right, so that's important to pay attention to. So on this pullback, price finds resistance on this correction. We could potentially see this continue to roll over. So if it rolls up and stays below that high that it made and starts to reject, you could potentially look for sales back down. All right. Now, if price decides to pull up a little higher, which it could very much do, if it does, that's not really telling me that, oh, the trend is wrong or anything like that. For the most part, it could just go higher. So if it was to go higher, overall, I would still say we could just respect this previous low structure to the left, maybe just get one more wave up and then continue. So either or, I'm expecting bears for the short term. All right, we'll go. All right, now all JPY. All JPY, man, it was pretty much, this was a stop hunt, all right? It gave a stop hunt above this level. So if we look on the weekly, price is still at this level of structure where you have previous sellers right here. All right. So the weekly looked like it's about to close bearish pin bar. All right, it's a good sign for sellers. Looking at the daily, price gave us a nice shooting star on that stop hunt at its high. There's a lot of orders up here, so they faked the buyers out. All right. Looking at the 4-hour, it was a false breakout. All right. Broke above, but it was obvious that it was false because it broke above and quickly came back sharply back into this level. So with all JPY, I would either look for a pullback, maybe a retest of this level and continue. So price comes back here and was like to retest here and hold, potentially get a sell there. And this could be really all the way back down to here. This about 82, around 82 support level. All right, which would be a nice. Or you could see price continue to sell off and just, sell the corrections of that. So something like this, because it's starting to break down in this trend line too. So it might not pull back up here like that. If it does, that'll be a better risk to reward. But if price just continue to break that higher low structure, then you can look to just continue to sell these pullbacks to take it back down. All right. So that's all JPY. These are all some nice potential setups for the week. So if you're in a paid Discord, I will be updating you all, if there's any signal opportunities. So let's look to be patient, let the market come to us, and we should get some profitable setups coming.